Hi there, Colin Hall, Biz Plans UK. Today, something slightly different, more on the macroeconomic goings on in the world and the UK in particular. And I want to touch on something which I saw reported, I think it was the Times a few days ago, and that was the possibility of the UK becoming essentially a war economy. Now that's not to say that the UK will be at war, but because of what's going on in the wider world, we will see our economy evolve and take on some of the aspects of what you traditionally associate with a war economy. So what does that look like? Well, number one, very simply, much higher spending on defence. And that's already started. We've seen that go from 2.5% and rising, and with promises of more to come. Secondly, you see more centralised control over economic triggers, levers, to ensure that everything from material and people can go into the war supply chain to provide what we need, whether it be bullets, bombs, tanks, whatever. Third, you see higher taxes because all this needs to be paid for. Fourth, you see a reduction in other government spending because there's only such money to go around. Fifth, you see higher government borrowing, and that is essentially mortgaging today for tomorrow's generation. Now, why do I all think this is a possibility? And I stress possibility, not definite. Unless you've had your head in a cave, you'll have seen all the machinations going on regard to the Ukraine war and how it changes pretty much daily, sometimes multiple times in one day. And irrespective of how that works out, Britain and all the other EU leaders have come to the same conclusion. And that is that the US, or rather Trump, Vance, cannot be trusted to honour Article 5 of the NATO treaty, which means that should there be war in Europe, they have to assume they're on their own. And because they've relied so long on the US umbrella to provide the additional support to fill the gaps, which are many in Europe, they have to fill them themselves. And that means essentially a war economy to fill those gaps without a war. And from that, there's going to obviously be winners and losers. So with less government spending in non-military concerned areas, non-defence areas, and higher taxes, that's going to mean less money in people's pockets. So you'll undoubtedly see a recession or recession in certain markets. If you are in the supply chain for the defence industry, then you'll see lots of business and probably lots of employment. Because we have a slight demographic problem in this country, and undoubtedly will need more people in the armed forces, that's going to make recruiting much more difficult in certain sectors. So all in all, it's going to be a challenge for many people in this country. Now, I stress this is not a definite or even the most likely outcome, but it's raised its head from being just an academic possibility to a real one. And when planning for the future, you need to take into account for it. If you want some help with that, give me a call.